In this review, I'll be looking at the F1 Swing, that's the V2, and I want to preface this by saying that I've not actually sailed this yet. It's just the initial unpacking and the feel that it has, and comparing it to the Duotone Unit 2. So the same thing with the Duotone. I never sailed it, but I unpacked it, put it together, and reviewed it, and checked out the features, and I just wasn't happy with it. So I'm going to talk about this one and compare it to that, and then my decision why I think this is the much better wing. Like I said, I got the Duotone to try it out because I wanted to see what like the rigid handle would feel like, what the windows would be like, and I really didn't like it because it was heavy, and the windows, I'm just not stoked about the windows because the fabric, not the fabric, I mean the vinyl or whatever that window is, just doesn't really feel like it's going to stand up to time. So went back to F1, and for it's the 2022 Swing Wing V2. So it's really similar to the Strike, but it doesn't have some of the struts in it. And I gotta say, I'm gonna go over the details, but the biggest thing is this is a very lightweight wing, and it just wants to float there. So as you can expect, this doesn't have windows, so the bag is a lot smaller. It's quite small, actually. So I'm curious because I have the Strike, I have the 6 meter and the 8 meter Strike. So I'm really interested in seeing how this differs in the shape and the size and the feel. So it's packed pretty much the same way that the 6 and the 8 came. One big bonus is just little things like the Duotone. They didn't give you a leash, so I think that's kind of lame. And I like the F1, so I'm kind of used to that, so that's great. The other big killer on the Duotone was its inflation system. So really like that F1 went to this SUP style tube, so that's great. Now it'll work. I can only have to use one pump. Plug for this air bank. I love this little guy. It'll go to 20 psi. It's quite small, so you're not wasting time pumping up your kite. I keep saying that. If you don't pump up your wing, you can be building your foil while this is automatically doing its thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and blow this thing up and see what it looks like. Before I blow it up, I'll also look at this. It's got a quick dump for the center strut, which is great. There is a difference between this and the Strike that I had earlier. They made an update to this. I like this because it's got a rib on it, and it pushes, when you push it in, it feels a lot more secure. So go ahead and put that in and then blow it up. So another plug on this air bank. You basically hit the button in the middle, turn it on, you choose what your PSI. This one actually goes up to 9 for the small sail. So I'm just gonna take it up to 8.5. Hit go. I can tell you right now, it's not gonna take very long. It'll do the 8 meter in, I don't know, a minute or two. Also has really beefy protection on the winglet ends. And I think generally all around, these handles stick out a lot more versus the 2021. So I have to get a sense of what that feels like when it's on the water. Oh my God, right off the bat, this thing is light. It's so much lighter than the Duotone was. I hate to rag on another brand, but I mean, this thing is so light. I mean, it basically is lofting itself. I did a test like this on my 8 meter, and it's the same thing. It's not going to take much wind to hold this thing up in the air. So when I'm kind of cruising around, should be able to just drop this and let it float. I could never do that with the Duotone. I give that a big thumbs up.